about. Just heard it, kind of breaking news, but we lost a comedy legend with Bob Newhart. Passed away today at the age of 94. For people like me and a few others, like Bob Newhart was just like I said, a comedy legend. He had a very uh, kind of unique style of humor. Like it was very kind of he had that deadpan delivery, and he
Hmm.
would always tell these like always these like one-sided stories.
Right. He would pretend to be on the phone with somebody having one half of a conversation.
Yeah, yeah. My favorite bit was the one where I think it was like a bus driver training, and and one part he's like, "Okay, now you see how the old lady is spinning around in the aisle right now."
Yeah. Right. Okay. Now you got the woman with the armful of groceries, and you're going to slow down just a little bit to give her some hope that you're going to stop to pick her up, and then that's when you hit the accelerator.
Yeah, 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 and good to see you as always, Ninja.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think my favorite bit is the one where he's talking about bomb defusal, and he says, "You always see it in the media as like this elite team. What happens if it's not the elite team?" And he had the guy giving the remote instructions to the guy out there with this torpedo that's washed ashore. He's like, "Hey, calm down, Phil. I mean, if this thing goes off, it's not going to be you they talk to."
yeah, yeah,
uh, he also had a storied career in movies and television.
yeah,
I'm weird in that I never really watched his sitcoms much. I was more of a fan of the comedy albums, which
yeah.
supposedly, and I don't know. So I actually listened to an audiobook biography of his a while back, and he said that at one point his albums had sold better than any Beatles album.
Hmm.
But the thing is that the numbers were reportedly lost in a fire, so he doesn't have an exact number. And he said he also didn't know about like how well they were still selling in the present, or how if all the records were gone, anybody knew what to pay him. But he still got occasional checks for his various comedy albums. And I think he mentioned he got one for like 35 cents the week he had been recording the audiobook.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, comedy albums usually are sold very well. I think like Bill Cosby was like at the top for a long time. Not anymore, of course, but
Right.
that's another story. But
Yes. Yeah. I also learned that the great injustice that Bob only ever won one Emmy, and it was for a minor recurring character who he would play on Big Bang Theory, uh, who was basically a Mr. Wizard type science educator who was apparently the inspiration for Sheldon to get into science.
uh,
I think
yeah.
I caught one of the episodes, and yeah, he basically had the right amount of disdain and irritation with Sheldon.
Well, that's fitting. But yeah, I mean, I've watched like a little bit of his sitcoms. There was one on the Bob Newhart show when his neighbor, I can't remember his name, but he was an orthodontist, and he retires, and then like one day he sees his neighbor, and he's just whittling at a stick, and so he's like, "Oh, what are you doing there, whittling? What are you whittling? Stick." He said, "Wow, you've been retired for 2 days and you're already senile."
Yeah. But Bob, you shall be missed. But
Yeah,
you left behind a great legacy of comedy, and I would say that Bob's style is oddly contemporary, because when you think about it, pitch meeting is basically just that, but you're hearing both sides of the conversation.
yeah,
And for that matter, a lot of like things I see as like TikTok memes or whatever, where people are just having these conversations, are kind of in his style.
yeah. They are. Yeah, they talk to each other back and forth. Yeah.
So your legacy lives on, and if you haven't checked him out, he's worth a listen. You can probably pull him up on Spotify or whatnot.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Back
you
in the
could.
day, I actually bought CDs.
Yes, yeah, I think we had my family. We had some of his CDs. Yeah, and you could, and if you want, I'm sure you can find episodes of either Bob Newhart or Newhart on either, probably on, might be, on some streaming service somewhere, but probably
Let's see
Tubi
here.
or.
What network was he on?
uh,
If it was CBS, it's probably Paramount Plus.
yeah,
If he was on a NBC, I think that's going to be, what do you call
Peacock,
it? Peacock. Yeah.
Peacock, yeah, and ABC would probably be Hulu. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, you will be missed, Bob. Yeah.
Yep. I guess we'll just have to imagine a world without Bob Newhart.